Welcome to the Holistic Self-Love Podcast. I'm Elizabeth Vallejo, a life coach here to help you build healthy habits for real change. Join me as we explore practical ways to reduce your stress, find balance, and feel your best every day. Welcome to the Holistic Self-Love Podcast. I am so excited because, as you know, on this podcast, we like to interview people that have inspirational stories, and we like to teach everybody new modalities and new ways that they can help themselves and kind of, better their life. So I'm so excited to be joined by Ayumi Moore today. Ayumi has a very, very inspiring story. We actually met in my first retreat ever. And I don't know what it was about her, but on our last day, on our last hour, I just looked at her and I just started crying. And it was my retreat and I was the facilitator. Now that I've gotten to know her a little bit more and really gotten to know her through her social media, because Ayumi is a content creator, I realize why that is. And it's because she is so authentic, so authentically herself. And for some reason, my nervous system just felt safe to just break down in that hallway to you and just start crying. And turns out we had a lot of things in common that we didn't even know we had. So Ayumi was born in Japan, which I think is incredible. At 18 years old, you joined the army and served our country, which is incredible, incredibly inspiring. During COVID, she decided to transition into content creating. And then at 30 years old, was diagnosed with autism. So, welcome to the Holistic Self Love Podcast, Ayumi. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
I was so excited to sit down with you because, to be diagnosed at 30 is incredible. But not just that, I don't think a lot of people understand what being neurodivergent is. I am also neurodivergent, and we tend to share a lot of characteristics. And I don't think people understand that. I think we live in a little bit of a culture where people are like, am I autistic? Am I not autistic?
Yeah.
So I kind of just want to dive in and start with that. How did you even think to get yourself diagnosed? Like, did you have traits that you noticed in yourself?
Yeah, so I have a daughter, and my oldest daughter was struggling with her mental health for a very long time, and doctors couldn't figure it out. They're giving her every diagnosis under the sun, and I just knew it wasn't right. It didn't sound like her. So I had to do my own research, and I found that autistic traits that she had or sounds just like her. So I suggested to the doctors, like, how about we do an evaluation for autism? Um, and that's when she got diagnosed right away. They're like, it was pretty easy. It just took a long time for them to even think about that because females have different traits than males. And, you know, then I researched more and come to find out women have different traits than little girls. So,
Wow.
yeah, that's at the beginning, I'm like, I can't have autism because I don't do what she does. But after watching other women my age or in their 20s and 30s who got diagnosed recently, um, I learned that we have different traits than children. Of course, children are children, so they show their feelings differently than how women are. So we might be more quiet or have severe anxiety or we stim a different way versus a little girl, they might cry if they're overstimulated versus us, we're like, we'll just stay at home.
I think it's funny that you said that because at the retreat when we met, you came up to me at one point and you said, I'm just really quiet, but I'm having a really great time. And I was
Mhm.
like, I didn't even notice that. And just for some backstory, Ayumi came to the Anchor and she was part of we were launching the Anchor. So it was you and many other influencers. And as you know, influencers tend to be very animated and take up a lot of space in the room. Ayumi was not like this. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, she's just over there hanging out. And turns out you were creating content and I had no idea until I saw you post it. I'm like, oh, that's what she was doing. But I never once thought like, oh, why is she so quiet or anything like that. I was just like, oh, she's a very elegant, put together woman that just is observing all of us. I'm like, oh my God, she's literally taking notes.
Elegant put together. That's so funny.
But you totally were. Your outfits were on point. You were never
Thank you.
late. You weren't sloppy. You know, you and me share something where we both don't drink. So you were
Yeah.
never like out of character. You were just, you know, to me, you seemed extremely elegant and like put together. And you know me,
Thank
girl,
you.
I used to work in fashion, so I noticed all of your things.
Oh, thank
I
you.
was like, I know everything she's wearing. But you said something, and I just recently went through this, and we haven't even spoken about this, where I was struggling with the doctors wanting to diagnose my daughter with everything. And I knew, like, I knew in my soul, I knew in my heart, because I have ADHD, I am dyslexic, I have PTSD, I have all the things. And I knew that that was not what she had. And I was, you know, they were so quick to medicate her. And I kept going, nope, I need another doctor. I need another doctor. I need another doctor, until finally somebody heard me. And she did not have ADHD. You know what I'm saying? She did not have all the things that they wanted to put her on. And I was like, for me, I've been medicated since I was medicated from 19 to 34, and I didn't want that for her. And I
Mhm.
have now been 9 years with no medication and able to handle all of my, I don't even like to call them symptoms, or they're my superpower, you know,
Yeah.
like I use them because we just learn differently, and we use a different side of our
Mhm.
brain, and society isn't built for that. So I love that you like honored your intuition, which is the way that I, as a life coach, I'm like, oh, she was listening to her intuition.
Mhm.
But I wanted to ask, like, once you got that diagnosis, not just for your daughter, but for you, like, did you feel a sense of like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
now,
I oh, yeah. I felt, it was a mixture of emotions. First, I was sad for my daughter because at the time I didn't know how. Like, what did I do wrong when I was pregnant? Like, there's so many thoughts, like, oh,
yeah.
is it my fault or she has to live with this forever? I was ignorant and didn't know much about it. Just sounded scary at the time. And after I got diagnosed and everything was clear, I was like, oh, yay, now I'm validated for everything I was feeling with parents and relationships. Like, I knew that there was something different about me, that I knew why I had issues with communications and like big emotions. It's because I have,
Mm,
you know, neuro- I have a neurological disorder and it's not my fault. It's out of my control. That's why I struggled in school. I mean, I have a learning disorder too, dyslexia.
mm,
Um, so it just all makes sense. And I was just like, oh, I'm not stupid. I'm not crazy. I'm not, all these negative things. And then I was like, okay, time to research. So I bought a whole bunch of books, started following a whole
mm,
creators with the same diagnosis. And I feel like I'm not alone anymore. I used to feel alone, like I'm the only person on the planet who is different and just thinks differently and talks differently. But no, I'm not. There's other people out there with the same neurological disability or disorder, if you want to call it, or superpower.
yeah,
I think it's a superpower too, because
yeah.
honestly, I have so many cool things and ways to see the world in a creative way that a lot of people don't. And
Mm, like
I feel
what?
like I don't fit in, I guess, like the social norms. I never did.
Okay.
I felt like you know, as far as like gender roles and stuff like that, I'm very
Mm.
open. I'm very open.
Oh,
I'm very open. I think women could do anything they want. People could date whoever they want. Like,
yep.
I don't care. I'm just like, love is love. So I'm just very like, I don't know, open. I am compared to maybe neurotypical people. Um,
Yeah.
so things like that. And I just am gifted in different ways that other people aren't able to easily catch on. Like I could play an instrument like this. I could learn.
Even
If I
being
learn anything,
dyslexic. Wait, can you read music?
yeah, I could
Oh,
read
I had a
music.
hard time with that because I kind of feel what you're saying. Like, I mean, and you've experienced it. Like, I'll put a retreat together, I'll put an event
Yeah,
together, and I look at people, I'm like, how do you not see this? How do you not?
exactly.
But,
It's not hard.
but yeah, but like, you know,
Division.
I'm a kid. I was born in the 80s, raised in the 90s, and they used to tell my mom like, "Oh, she's just really lazy." And it was
Mhm.
like, "Oh no." I was not lazy. If anything, my brain was on overload
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to understand. I would get home exhausted. And, when you said how you started researching, I think the one thing when my daughter got diagnosed was that I just threw myself into like, how do I understand her brain?
Mhm.
Because I wish somebody would have understood my
Oh,
brain
yeah.
when I was little. So now it's like when she goes through anything, like you talk about big emotions, right? Like when she goes through big emotions, um, I try to see, well, where's her head at?
Yeah.
Like what is she going through right now? And then I put myself in her position. And then I like to play a game with her where I'm like, okay, is this your logic brain? Is this your logical brain thinking, like our emotions?
Yeah.
But it also helps me because I feel like when I told you I have a lot of the same traits, I get overstimulated very easily. I don't like certain fabrics. I don't like certain noises. Like if we're in the car and you're on TikTok, I will pull over and drop you
Oh,
off. Like
same. I hate that.
we're
Don't watch
done.
videos when I'm
No,
driving. I hate it.
no. And it's
I
like,
hate
and
it.
then people, I'm trying to keep us alive in this vehicle. Like I can't
Exactly.
hear anything but the radio. So
Exactly.
in a lot of ways, I feel like I can relate to a lot of people. And the thing that you said about feeling like you belonged, like you found your people, that is so
Mhm.
important as humans.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
that's why retreats are so important, religions are so important. That's why people need AA because we need to feel like we belong. And sometimes when we're neurotypical, I felt like I was alone my whole life. I felt
Mhm.
like why don't I understand these directions? Why
Oh,
can't I
yeah.
take tests properly? But then I'm great at all the creative stuff. So it
Yes.
never made sense. So I
Same.
love that you said that because that is I think it's something to do also with like, and I want to talk about your parents, right? Because we're
Mhm.
both, well, you weren't born here. I'm first generation born here. So I come
Okay.
from immigrant parents and it is completely different. Like they don't know what ADHD is, they don't know dyslexia, they don't understand emotions.
No, they don't.
So how did you navigate through that? Because I do know that your parents are like a really big part of your life.
I can't, well, now I just accepted it. I'm like, it is what it is. They're old school. They back then they were born in the 50s and 60s. So my parents are older.
Yep.
So they were educated when it came to neurodivergent people, what ADHD is, what is autism. Even if I explain it to them, it's just like, you guys look normal to me, it's not clicking, So I'm just like, it is what it is. I can't change that. So of course I looked back and I told my parents, like, why didn't you see any of these signs? Like they told me I couldn't read, they
Yeah.
told me I couldn't do math. They had to put me in special education classes. I couldn't make friends. Like, what? They're like, well, you're past, like, barely past. I mean, hey, you did get her back. So, they're just like,
Mm.
we didn't see it. We're old school. We didn't know. And I'm not taking it personal. It's not like they try to, um, not look into it, but they had no idea. I'm their first kid. So they just
Oh,
thought,
you're the oldest.
yeah,
So
I'm the oldest.
how do you see them moving differently with your kids than they did with you?
Nothing.
Nothing. They're just
Nothing. I told them, I'm like, she does this because she's autistic, I'll talk about my kids and they're just like, they're bad.
Yeah, yeah, I do get that a lot. I get a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, my parents are a little softer with the grandchildren, but I like to tend to remind them, like, thank you for your parenting advice, but like, I ended up in rehab, and so we're gonna do things
Right.
differently this time. And because
Exactly.
I have a hard time with like the gentle parenting. Like sometimes I'm like, did I gentle parent too hard? And I think me
Yeah.
and you've talked about this before. Like, our kids are spoiled. Like, I don't even want to sugarcoat it.
Spoiled.
Spoiled, and I'm
Spoiled.
like, did I
Hmm.
gentle parent too hard? But like
Yeah.
she has needs that I didn't have when I was little, or maybe I did, and now they're like traumas because
Yeah.
nobody was paying attention or listening to me. But so I do try and give myself a lot of grace. And going back to the fitting in, I feel like everything happens in the universe for a reason. I think you know that about me. And I think I was supposed to break down that day for you because I didn't realize how much I needed to relate to somebody in the next coming months. Because I remember I used to text you out of nowhere and be like, I'm gonna kill my kid. Like, I'm gonna kill my kid. And you'd be like, I'm gonna kill mine too. And we just related on a different level to where, my girlfriends don't always understand what I'm going
Yeah.
through. Or, also, the overcompensation of like, it's literally just me and her. It's always been me and her. And I overcompensate for like that missing piece of her
Yes.
life that, maybe her other parent isn't everything she needed. So when I try and tell my parents that, they're like, no, she's just spoiled.
Yeah.
Like, but I do want to get to your content creating because I think it's so powerful that you have this platform and this voice and not like going back to the universe because I do have a question about autism. You said that you have problems with big feelings, right? Like I wish, Ayumi, okay? I wish because my feelings are so big that they consume me. This is why I became a life coach. Like I want to help people because the anxiety just wakes me up in the morning, doesn't let me sleep. I have such big feelings that I feel like sometimes it's like subtitles are coming out and you can hear my
Mhm.
thoughts. So I wonder in your traits, does this let you like do things without overthinking them and just like be bold?
No, it's the opposite. I do have big feelings. I do, yeah, I do have
Oh,
big feel I'm just saying, I met
oh,
like, I versus a child having big feelings, how they express it versus an adult. Man,
oh,
I have huge feelings. I
yeah.
have severe anxiety. I don't know how I'm not drinking and doing anything because man, if that was anyone else, they're probably a drug addict or alcoholic because I have severe anxiety. I have severe
Ah,
I'm just been told my entire life, you're so emotional, you're so sensitive.
yep.
Because I could break down, cry, scream, get mad. I have a short temper. The past couple years,
Mm,
I'm much better.
I
Before,
love
it was
that.
not good. It was not good.
So then tell me how you became a content creator because I and then I'll tell you a little bit how after how I managed those things because I just
Okay.
couldn't go through life like that. But I want to know how did you have like the balls to just start content creating? Like how did it happen?
I always had big dreams. Like ever since I was a kid, I'm like, I want to be a star. I want to be a singer, a model, something.
Yeah.
A doctor, a dentist. I was going to do that, going to medical school during COVID, but content creation started popping off. But my friend, she suggested it. She has a teenager at the time, and she's like, "Hey, like my daughter watches these influencers, these YouTubers. They're like 19 and they make millions of dollars." She's like, "I think you should do it. Like, why not try it? You
Wow.
could make it the potential of these youngins." And I'm just like, that doesn't sound too bad. I'm like,
Yeah, it sounds great.
it sounds great. So I looked into it and researched it. I'm like, wow, these people are making millions of dollars. I'm like, okay, I need to do this. So I just started making a YouTube channel, like an Instagram from scratch, and I just didn't know what I was doing because I have no friends in content creation. So I'm just literally copying what everyone is doing, and I'm getting no views,
Mm.
no following. And, I technically started this like around 2017, 18, like not full time, but just
Oh. Yeah.
trying to figure it out. So I started around
Uh-huh.
2017, 18 while I'm in college. It's full-time college, trying to balance both. And it wasn't going good. It was very cringy. It was very lame. It was very a hard watch. I can't even they're deleted. That's how bad they were. But
Oh my God, I was about to
um
say I'm gonna go back and look at them.
they're gone because I am not going to punish myself like that. So 2020 is when COVID hit, and that's when TikTok started getting bigger, and I'm getting more practice. I'm doing more research. I'm figuring out that, oh, you got to have a niche. Oh, you got to,
Oh, yeah.
you just can't post videos and just call it a day. And I'm like doing research. I'm reading, I'm watching hundreds of videos on how to grow, how to become a content creator. And
Wow.
that's my year when I gained over 100,000 followers.
That's amazing.
And I started to understand how this career work instead of just winging it.
So, what's your niche? What was the first image that you had of like your niche?
My first niche was family, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like husband and kids. Mostly my kids. We got like the most views when it's like,
Well, because they're really cute.
oh, thank you. But Sky
They
was
are.
really good
They're
at lip
gorgeous.
syncing. So Sky would like lip sync all the TikTok trends, 100,000
Oh my
views,
God.
100,000 million. And she was only
Wow.
like three at the time. So she was killing it. And she's neurodivergent too. So she was going viral for being able to lip sync better than adults, like these skits and stuff.
I love
And she would
that.
get it on the first, second try. It was very gifted.
Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so you started off as family. So your audience has literally just gone through an entire journey with you, right? Because now you are not married and it's just you and the girls. And
Yeah.
I mean, that's how I met you.
Yeah.
Actually, I met you on a video call where you were moving into your house
Okay.
and
Yeah.
you
That
still like
was.
stopped. It was like a crazy day and you stopped to take this meeting. And I'm like, she is such a boss. Like,
Oh,
I,
yeah, it was.
yeah, you were moving into
While
the
I'm
house that you
telling the
just moved out
movers,
of.
I was literally telling the movers this and this while I'm having the meeting. Like, all right, move it over there. That's so crazy. You have great
Yeah, so I
memory.
met you as like fully successful, like, but there is a whole backstory to how that happened. And like that's what a lot of people I think don't realize. And it's funny how the
Um,
universe works because I just listened to Mel Robbins' podcast, which is my absolute favorite. It's like the best way to wake up. And she was talking about how she researched her podcast for about 2 years. And it's not about thinking you know how to do everything. It's about, you know, yes,
doing it.
copying other people that are
Yeah.
successful because nobody could be you.
No.
Because there are, I mean, we have a mutual friend, Lauren Romero, who hers is family. That's her niche. And you guys are completely different,
Yes.
but you're doing the same thing. And you're both hilarious and you're both
Thank
constantly on my
you.
top because I just adore both of you. So how did you get comfortable being so vulnerable? Like one with the kids, right? Because now you're exposing the kids. And
Right.
by the way, everybody that's listening, her kids are incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Sometimes I think like, oh my God, she's gonna be a little batty because did she just read you and then you posted it? I'm like,
Yes.
I love how she just humbled her. What was
Oh,
it
yeah.
today where she was like, you should clean your camera.
Oh, yeah.
Clean
She's
your
like,
phone.
yeah, she said, wash your phone, girl. I said, okay, I'll put in the
Yeah.
dishwasher.
Yeah, that is what you said. So what was it that allowed you to be so vulnerable? And like, and even today, you're super vulnerable, like with the way that you create content. Like, what made it so easy for you? And I asked from somebody who does have really big feelings. So I'm wondering, how do you manage all of that?
Man. Oh, I try my best to talk about topics that are not controversial, that I won't regret
Mm,
in the future,
okay.
and won't affect my kids. So I'm very careful. I also try to talk about topics that will help people, like sharing my story or sharing my experiences or just being vulnerable. Like, look, my life isn't perfect. I'm struggling right now. This is happening. My finances aren't the best.
Yeah.
Like I try to just be vulnerable and just show that social media is not real. Like, I don't care how nice someone's house is, how nice their car is. It's
Yeah.
not real. Everybody's not going to show when a girl and her husband are fighting and arguing. Like
Yeah.
they see these couples and they think they're perfect. They see me and my ex, they thought we were the perfect couple, but behind the scenes, it was not. Nowhere
Yeah,
near
because you had
perfect.
you also had a very public breakup and like
Yeah.
I see it as like, oh my God, because that's when I met you was after
Yeah.
that. And I was like, she bounced back amazing. But what people
Ah,
don't see, exactly, because we had texts back and forth where you're like, I've been crying all day. Like that's what people
yeah.
don't see. Um,
Yeah.
I I started this podcast actually because I contacted my ex-husband's ex. If I felt very strongly in my soul that I had to reach out to her. So my ex-husband's recent ex, and
Okay.
that's actually our first podcast. And
Oh, wow.
I think as women, we always want to sit down and kind of talk to our ex's ex, especially when we have shared experiences. But I kind of asked myself and had a lot of meditation and prayer over, is this going to help other people? Is this
Yeah.
going to hurt my kids? Because I share, his daughter is still my stepdaughter. She's still a very big part of my life. She's been to my retreats. And at the end of the day, what I got back, because, prayers when you talk to God, meditations when he talks back to you. And what I kept getting was, you need to tell the story because you have to help people one day. And you can't, I sit and as a life coach, I work with like 15 to 20 women a week. And we talk about heavy shit, but I don't talk about it on my socials. And I
Yeah.
rarely will say certain words like, narcissist is not a word that I normally say. And when I sat down with a friend of mine to help put this podcast together, she's like, but this is what you do. You help people get through, you're neurodivergent. You help your clients get through that. But you've also been through a lot of abuse, whether it was financial and narcissistic. Like, you need to start talking about these things. And I want to always keep it like so classy and like, am I going to be proud of myself? And I realized,
Mhm.
oh no, I could talk about this hard shit and
Mhm.
be proud of myself in 5 to 10 years. Like, I'm not trying to ruin anybody's life. I'm not trying to,
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you don't want to look bad, don't do bad shit.
Uh, period.
Seriously. If you don't want two of your exes getting together and recording
Right.
a podcast, don't be whatever
A
it
bad
is.
person.
Yeah. So, another thing I really admired about you, and I don't want to talk a lot about it because we're not here to like talk about boys, but what I really admired about you is like, you really did hold your tongue up until today. Like,
Mhm.
how do you, having such big feelings, like, do
Mhm.
you see a therapist? Do you, like, what is it that you do to take care of yourself? Because, being diagnosed, going through a public breakup, raising two little ones on your own, like, how does Ayumi take care of Ayumi?
Oh yeah. That's something that I struggle with, but therapy was
Yeah.
my biggest thing that I did after the divorce. I was getting therapy prior to the divorce. I always been going to therapy
Mm.
like most of my adult life, but of course after the divorce I tried to be very consistent. So like weekly I did that, and then I did
Mhm.
family therapy with my kids. So twice, 2 to 3 times a week I was seeing therapy
Yeah.
with myself and my kids to make sure my kids are okay. So that was one way. Another way was I was journaling, I was working out, I was going on vacation. I went to the retreat. Um, so traveling, vacation, doing hobbies. Like I'm like, I'm gonna find
Yeah.
myself because I lost myself in the marriage. I want to find myself. I'm gonna dance again. I took dance classes. I started skateboarding. I started doing fashion again. I just love fashion, but I was,
Yeah.
lost and wasn't doing things that I love. So I just started focusing on things that I loved again. I started hanging out with friends. I started doing things that I wouldn't normally do, like going out with my friends. Um,
Yeah.
things like that. So just focusing on things that I love, making sure my mental health is okay. So I could take care of my kids to the best of my ability, making sure they're okay, making sure they go on trips with me, making sure we have bonding, quality time together. So that's what I did. I think basically like just shifting away from caring so much about what others think and making everybody
Mhm.
else happy. I'm like, I gotta make myself happy. I gotta take care of myself and do everything that I always wanted to do that I couldn't. I'm gonna do it now.
Yeah. And now you got weekends free.
Weeks.
Oh, you guys do 1 week on, 1 week off?
Yes, but he only
Oh,
watches
but
his biological daughter.
yeah, you still have the
Yeah,
oldest
yeah,
one, but
yeah.
it is
Yeah.
it is sometimes easier. And I find like, especially with like clients that are going through that, where they're like, my teenager needed me more than I knew. And once the little one went to his dad's, like, oh my God, I had so much time with my teenager.
Oh
I
yeah.
don't know anything about that because my daughter is literally the star of this house and the center of my universe. And sometimes I'm like, I'm allowed to say no. Um,
Uh-huh.
I'm
Yes.
Yeah, even to her. I'm a big believer in therapy. I think I go to therapy. I have done family therapy with my daughter, and it was like twice a week, and it gets really intense.
It's a
But I feel
lot.
like, Yeah, and I feel like it's such a beautiful way for us to have just like a safe space. I mean, that's what I do as a life coach is I create a safe space for people. So most of my clients have therapists and they see their
Mhm.
therapist on a Monday and they'll see me on a Tuesday and it works really, really great together, especially if you're doing any sort of trauma therapy like EMDR, it goes really great with coaching.
Oh yeah.
But I did want to talk about the retreat because you're right. You came to the retreat and you were in this like moment of like transition
Oh
and
yeah.
you were like, you have no idea how much I need this. So, what are some things that you maybe took from the retreat that someone that's never been to a retreat? Because that's my whole dharma, right? Is I create these retreats
Mhm.
because I want to teach people all these modalities. I want to introduce them to them, and then I want them to come home with whatever works for them. So, for someone that's like never been to a retreat, what do you think you
Yeah.
could tell them to like expect or what you got out of it?
I felt like it was like a detox, like a cleanse. It was amazing from mentally, physically, spiritually. It was the perfect time, honestly. Like
It
when I
was.
came to
And
the
you
it
weren't
was
even supposed to come. That's how
I
crazy
was
the
oh
universe works.
yeah.
You
Oh
were a
yeah.
last minute add on. I feel like
Oh
I
yeah.
remember adding you on like 3 weeks before to the point that our mutual friend Lisette didn't even know when she was coming.
I know it was so I was like, girl, it's in 2 days. She's like, oh, I did it back. But yeah, it was the perfect time. And I know even for Lisette, you know how she had her spiritual awakenings and stuff like
Yeah,
that, and seen her grandpa, spoke to her grandpa who passed away.
it's
And
incredible.
when I tell you, when she came back to Vegas, she was a different person. Hitting the gym, I don't know if you remember it, literally dieted,
Yeah.
hit the gym, was journaling, killing it, got a six pack. Like she definitely
She was like
transformed her
snatched
life.
after that.
I'm telling you, she transformed after that retreat. Like she did better than me. I was still going through a lot of things. She did better than me, but it was just amazing. Like I needed it so much. And during that time, during the retreat, I was still not who I am today. Like I was still
Mm.
transitioning, still
Yeah.
quiet, still not open with who I really am. I'm a totally different person then, but it takes a long time to heal after being in a
Oh,
situation for 2 years. So I
yeah.
was still, not my blossom butterfly or flower that I am today. That's another reason why probably why I was still quiet because I had a lot of things going
Yeah.
on
You were
mentally and
processing.
oh yeah, processing. I was shy and I'm thinking about my kids. I'm moving. It was just a lot going on, but it really was a big step on who I am today, like that transformation, that
Oh my God, I
detox,
love
that
that.
cleanse. Oh yeah, it was great.
And that's the thing about healing too, right? Because you had a really beautiful experience, which is you got to go with your best friend. Lisa is
I
literally your bestie. It's not even for show. I have two best friends coming on my retreat next week, and this is their second retreat with us, and
oh,
they come
nice.
together. And I like to tell people all the time that like healing does not. There's no path, and there's no like we can't compare because Lisette is literally my MVP. Like I constantly bring her up where I'm like, okay, she came in and she's just like a ball of energy and I did not
Yes.
expect her life to change, but something about me is that everyone that comes to my retreats, I stay in contact with everybody. Like whether I'm
Oh,
like following you guys on your socials and I'm your biggest fans or like we have drop-in sessions where we just want to see what's going on or like, Danny, the one from Miami, she just launched
oh
her
yeah, I love
podcast.
Jenny.
Yeah. And she like asked me to come and do the meditation, but like our schedules didn't work out. I just got her baby's Christmas card and she sent me a goodie bag from everything from her launch party. Like, I don't think that it's a coincidence that we meet. And I
Oh
think
no.
that yeah, so for me, it's really important. So seeing her thrive and the way that Lisette thrived was so beautiful to watch. And even like today, I think we had a call last month or right before Christmas. Like she's becoming a grandmother, by the way, like the hottest grandmother I've ever
Oh
seen.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, first of all, I love following you guys because when you guys are when you have friends that are content creators, I want to drop in and be like, wait, did that just really happen?
Oh
Like, and
yeah.
what's happening? Or like I'll
Yeah.
constantly call Lauren and be like, "Wait, what's the surprise?" She's like, "Okay, I'll tell you, but don't say anything."
Right.
That's how I keep tabs on you guys is like, because you guys are very, very vulnerable. How do the kids feel about being on camera? Because you're telling me Sky's been on camera since she was little, and now
Mhm.
she's in her raging teen years, or she's a preteen going into them, right?
Sky, kind of. She's gonna be 9 soon.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, your oldest. How old is your oldest?
She's 14, gonna be 15, so she's a teenager,
Oh,
teenager. She's grown.
girl. Yeah, that's like these are been the scariest years of my life. How does she feel about being on camera?
She loves it. She wants to be an actress or a content creator when she grows up. So she's like, she loves it. She just doesn't like my content.
Oh, yeah, no, because
So
we're cringy.
she
Mhm.
doesn't like my content. So, she thinks mine is cringy, blah, blah, blah. So she's at the age where she's just like in her room 24/7. So she's not on camera like
Yeah.
she used to be where she was young. And okay, like now she's just like, I'm just going to be watching TV or on my phone or, trapped in my room. So now Sky is more, like, let's do the we listen, we don't judge challenge. Let's do this. Like she's want to go on the camera and all that stuff. But Yuri loves it. That's what she wants to do. She has done commercials. She has been on Nickelodeon, Cox Cable. Like
Love
she
it.
acts. Sky, it just depends how she feels, but I don't ever
Mm,
force them to do anything. Like that's the last thing I want them to do. Plus, I'm kind of like shifting away putting them on social media as much because there are mean comments. They're old enough
oh,
to
wow.
read. They don't have social media, but people from their school might tell them one day. So I'm just very careful and limiting putting my kids on social media all the time. If it's an innocent video where we're sharing a moment, that's fine. Those don't go as viral as a skit where
Yeah.
crazy people will say crazy things. So I'm just focusing on me being the brand this year. But overall, when they want to be on my video, I'll let them. Go ahead, sure. The audience,
I
like you guys,
love
doesn't.
that. Because that was literally my next question. What is next for Ayumi? Like, what is it that, is your niche still family? Because I see your niche. First of all, I get a lot of inspiration from you. I'll be like, where did you get that? You're like, the link is in the
No, thank
bio.
you.
I'm like, oh,
Everything's in my
so
bio.
I love it. And no, first of all, you just posted some lights for your house. I'm
Mhm.
like, was all up in that link. I was like, how do I get these lights? Because they were so
Yeah.
cute. You do have like impeccable taste, not just in home,
Oh, thank
not
you.
just in fashion, but like your house. I think I
Thank
sent you a
you.
text a couple months ago where I'm like, I know your house smells incredible. I could see it.
Oh yeah, you said that. You sure did. I tried
Yeah.
to. I love things that smell good.
Oh, who doesn't? So what is next for you?
What is next for me? So nobody knows this, really. Say everybody, it's still VIP.
Okay. I love it. Just
It's
for
still
my
VIP.
listeners.
Yes, it's for your listeners. So social media is very unpredictable. Okay. TikTok's about to
Mm,
be gone, and that's my biggest paying platform. Um,
Jesus.
that's where I get all my brand deals. It's TikTok.
Wow.
That's where I have my biggest following, almost 700,000 followers. And that's
Incredible.
about to go goodbye. So since last year, I decided that I'm gonna do real estate, just to have a
Yes.
backup, just to have another source of income,
I love it.
because man, let me just tell you, my income got cut by like 70% last year. So I'm
Wow.
like, this is not gonna work. Like the year prior, I was killing it, making six figures a month. Now it not even close. So
Wow.
it's very scary. And I'm like, okay, I
Yeah.
have to do something. I can't do a 9 to 5 because I can't afford where I'm living with a 9 to 5. Unless I'm
Yeah.
a surgeon, and I can't become a surgeon overnight.
Yeah, no. It's too
So
late for us.
it's too late for us. So now that, entrepreneurs make lump sums of money, and it's very hard to go backwards from that. So I'm like,
Yeah.
real estate. I love real estate. I always wanted to become a realtor. I've done real estate investing before. So I'm like, perfect. I could become a realtor and do luxury real estate while doing investment properties as well as having assets. So that is my next project, is getting my license this year as soon as possible when things slow down, because life has been crazy. I have boxes all around me you guys can't see. I'm
Oh,
not
yeah,
going to
because
show
you just
you.
moved.
I just moved, so ignore my ugly background. I'm fighting for my life right now. So yeah, that's my and
Okay.
YouTube and Instagram. Like I'm trying to grow those platforms. So yeah, just having a new career path, and I think it's better to have multiple
So
sources of skills
exciting.
and income
Yes.
because you never
So
know, you know?
yeah, no, you never know. So are you going to document all this? Are you going to show us how you're going to be a real estate agent? Like, are you going to give us tips and tricks? Am I going to see your wardrobe? Because you already have all the
You
fits.
already
I'm
know
like,
I'm about to be
she
the
already
flyest
knows.
real estate agent. I'm telling y'all.
And
I'm
in
about to
Las
be
Vegas.
in Las Vegas. I'm trying to get the Raiders. Y'all need a house.
Yes.
Y'all need a house.
Seriously.
I got you. So,
Seriously.
Hollywood is coming to Vegas in the next couple of years. So I'm like,
Mm.
perfect celebrity client. So I'm like, let me get this going now so I can get my celebrity clientele up. But that is my goal. Selling Sunset Las Vegas, whatever you want to call it.
Yes. She's ready to audition, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
ready
She's
to
prepared.
audition. And
Ugh,
yeah, I am going to document it. I'll probably even document me going to school and the
I love that.
process.
Yes, please.
Yeah, like yes, so I'm gonna film
I feel
everything.
like this is so good because, you know, you know what it's like to rebuild your entire career, to
Yeah.
have to rebrand yourself. Like, teach us how, because a lot of people
Okay.
don't know how to do that. And like, to me, in my head, that's like another one of your superpowers. Like, do you know how brave it is to go, I cannot do a 9 to 5? A lot of people
Yeah.
don't even believe that. I've met people that are so talented and are so
Oh yeah.
scared to live their dharma. And I think when you were at the retreat, the last meditation that we did, because I love to end the retreats this way, was to have find your dharma meditation,
Yes. I remember.
right? And I get people that get so emotional because they
Mhm.
hate their
Mhm.
job and they know
Yeah.
what they want to do, but they're so scared to take that leap. So you have been so inspiring. Like, I know you're
Oh,
going to inspire people with this conversation. You inspired me. I'm sitting here going like, do I need another job? But I don't, because I have too many jobs. I have too many jobs. Um,
I'm trying to be
but
like you.
thank you so much for sitting down with me and for just telling us your story, because it is so inspiring. And we didn't even get into like you being in the army. We didn't get into so many things, which just means you're going to have to come back. And
Okay.
yeah, and then I would, I always love to stay in touch with you, but
Of
I'm going to now
course.
start sending you a whole bunch of self-love stuff because I know you need
Oh
it.
yeah. Thank
The life
you.
coach
Thank
in
you
me.
so much.
I'm your unofficial life coach, and I'm
I
probably
love
going to
that.
start sending you all of that stuff. Yeah, no, if you let me love you, I will literally smother the people in my life. So I have to be very careful with that because I
I'm
have
the same
very
way.
big feelings. I know,
Yes.
right? And I think that's what's so hard. I think that's why I related to you so much, because it is not easy in these streets trying to raise little girls, and there's not a lot of us that are doing it with so much, which is so much. So when you meet another mom like that, I mean, because you'd be in shock. You're just getting into it right now. But I have little girls that come over here and their parents don't even know where they are. Like, what? I am watching my kid when the second she leaves this, I know exactly where she is at all
Oh
times.
yeah.
So I love meeting moms like me and seeing me and other moms. I love it.
Oh yeah.
And you were there for me when I don't even think you knew how powerful you were. Those times I texted you and I would voice note you, and you were always answering so quickly. So as a fan of yours, I'm so excited to see
Oh,
what's
thank
coming, and
you.
I'm so excited to, because I know you're going to succeed.
Thank
Tell the
you.
listeners where they can follow you so that they can continue to be inspired. And you know what? Give us your TikTok, because TikTok might still be a thing.
Okay. So my TikTok is Ayumi.more.
Okay.
Instagram and YouTube is Ayumi Official.
Awesome. And we're going to link all of this in the little bio down so everybody can find you. And thanks again so much for being here. We're going to have to do this again.
Oh yeah, thank you so much for having me. I had a great time.
Okay. Okay, now for the legal stuff. You know, the important things that I have to say. This podcast is for educational and entertainment purposes only. I'm just a life coach, not a licensed therapist, not a licensed psychotherapist. This is not a substitute for advice from a doctor, therapist, or any other qualified expert. Got it? Great. See you in the next episode.